So important for spouses to remember that, especially for men, because it's about as a man, I'm a solutioner. And often, my wife doesn't want to listen to my solution. She wants to listen to be heard. And I'm solutioning the problem because now I've got all the answers here. I've got the answer. And this is what you should do. No, she doesn't care about that. She wants me to listen to what she's talking about.
Hi, Anton.
Hello, Patricia. How are you today?
Very good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for coming along. I'm so excited to have you on the Break Time with Patty show. Dear friend, at home or wherever you are, Anton is a phenomenal speaker that I met at my Toastmasters club, Words on Wings, or WOW for short, in May 2021. And we have been inseparable ever since. I have the privilege to hang out with him on a weekly basis at our Friday lunch meeting. And he's gracefully accepted to be with us today. So I would like to introduce him to you before we get started, so you have a good idea of who he is. First things first, Anton is an expert at mastering chaos. He is a director of crisis management and communications, risk, resiliency, emergency, governance, disaster recovery, and of business continuity management. Second, he is also an expert speaker. Anton is a 2 times distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest distinction that can be obtained in the Toastmasters world, besides the title of World Champion of Public Speaking, obviously, and he did it twice. Anton has been a Toastmaster for 14 years. He enjoys wordplay and insightful and meaningful, but humorous, fun-filled speeches, table topics, and evaluations with his peers and new friends at Toastmasters. He is not only an expert speaker in English, but he also speaks 3 other languages fluently: Afrikaans, Dutch, and Flemish. Am I missing another language, or are we good? Number 3, Anton loves to share his wisdom with others. He is a consultant, a writer, a trainer, and a motivational coach. He is the area director M32 in District 123, past club president, area and division leader for District 60, and he is also a club officer trainer. He is a vice president of public relations for the towns of York and a member of a few other clubs, such as Speak Up at TD and many other ones. But that is not who he is. Anton is a parent, a fellow Toastmaster, a peer, and a friend. He's also the most humble and modest man I have ever met, and he loves custard. We need to hear about this today. His motto for this decade: adapt and evolve, or I've heard him say recently, adapt to evolve. I've talked enough. Let's dive right in. Anton, can you tell us a little bit more about you as a young boy, a teenager, and a young adult? What was it like to be in his shoes?
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Patricia. The check will be in the mail, by the way. I grew up as a bit of a bookworm and a bit of a nerd. At school, I was gangly and awkward. The boy with glasses and the pocket protector with all the pens in. That was me. I was a bit of an outsider. And overall, just an average student. I was rather tall for my age, so in grade 8 to grade 10, the school bullies tended to stay away from me because of my physical size as such. They tended to pick on some of the others. So I had a reasonably peaceful school-going time as such. That's who I am. That's me. A bit nerdy, bit of a bookworm. And I just love talking, as we'll find out as we go through the rest of this interview or this podcast today.
Definitely. So you were never shy? You just talked to whoever, you had no issues?
I was shy, definitely shy and reserved, because I always felt a bit of an outsider, because I really enjoyed books more than people as such. I'm more of an introvert. If you do the Myers-Briggs, I'm more of an NITJ, I think, if I remember that way it goes.
Okay. All right. So that gives us a good idea. And so if you can tell us a bit more, like what was the turning point? Because you've been at Toastmasters for 14 years. So what made you want to join in the first place then?
I've got a bit of a different story to most people. I actually joined Toastmasters twice. The first time I joined was in 1999 for the Y2K crunch.
Oh, yeah.
And for the first 2 months, they hounded me every time I joined to do something. And I had the best excuses why I couldn't do anything. Then I gathered up the courage and I said, the third month, if they ask me, I will do whatever they ask me. And you know what? Nobody asked me anything. So it hurt my pride. And then I got a bit of a huff and I left them. And then around about 2008, I really realized I needed to join an organization that could help me with my public speaking. Because I realized at work I needed to be more comfortable speaking to my senior management. I was progressing up in my career. I was getting to meet more of the senior people. And I didn't know how to speak to them. I was always tongue-tied. That awkward Gandhi lad came back at that stage. So in 2008, I rejoined. And since then, I've just moved forward slowly but surely, one step at a time, until where I am until today.
Wow. I'm just trying to visualize an Anton that's awkward speaking. My brain does not compute.
No, I was one of the most awkward people. I never knew what to say. And I was always tugging at the collar. And, the typical one that you see on TV or the movie, that was me to a T.
Wow. Thank you for sharing this. So, wow. So how does a person... Well, what kind of person were you when you joined Toastmasters? Because there's some people that go all in, like what I did. I just went like, boom, right away, the icebreaker the same day, and then every other role. Were you like one of those slow ones that took forever to get into it, or did you really give it your all?
I wanted to get to it full pace, but I was very shy and nervous and afraid. My icebreaker, the first speech, I practiced that for about 3 weeks. I stood in front of there. I was shaking like a leaf. Whilst I was speaking, a latecomer came into the meeting and he sat where I was sitting in my chair. And because of my nerves, I was sort of like fixated on him. I read my speech more than spoke my speech as such. I was horrified at my performance, but typical Toastmaster style, everybody tapped up, and most clubs, when you do your icebreaker, you stand up and they give you a standing ovation. I got that. I went to my chair, I chased the guy, I sat down, collapsed, and for the next 5 minutes, I had no idea what went on. I was such a nervous wreck. And strangely enough, that helped me do my next speeches. And I said to myself, well, I can do 1 speech a month. And I set myself a target of doing 1 speech a month. And over the next while, within the first year, I completed my first 10 because I did the old path, which would be basically, if it's in the pathways, up to say level 2 or level 3 as such.
Wow.
In the first year. And that's how I started. I just did 1 speech after the other. Was I good? I can tell you, I was terrible. I had a lot of advice. I was also not afraid to ask for mentors to help me out, for people to suggest things, how to speak with. And I practiced with a few people as well as I went through my speaking initial, I would say the first 20 or 30 odd speeches. Not afraid to ask for advice and ask for feedback afterwards as well from people I chose to help me along coaching and mentoring and such.
Yes, your icebreaker experience sounds a lot like me in terms of the shaking and the feeling. I read through most of it. Actually, to be honest, I continued for quite a while until pretty recently, where I felt comfortable for the first time to actually not read a speech. So we all have our own journey, our own path.
But one thing I'd like to add, Patricia, to me, a speech is a picture with words. They say the expression, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yes.
Well, a well-crafted speech, each spoken word is actually a picture. And depending how you speak with it and how you say it, your audience can actually see visualize, using your words, a certain picture. To me, that is just something wonderful. I don't often get it right, but I do see it when the audience clicks and they can actually visualize the pictures I'm drawing with my words and make those various connections.
Wow, that is so profound, Anton. I'm going to take notes of this.
Well, we're learning from each other every day. That's the thing with the Toast.
We are.
We're always learning. We're always observing. We're seeing how we can better and improve. I'm not perfect. I'm not even a great speaker. I'm a good speaker on the best of days.
Oh.
I do have my moments occasionally. But the rest of the time, I'm just a good speaker. And I'm happy with that. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I enjoy speaking. And sorry, I'm speaking too much here.
No, you're not. We're here to talk. I think you're outstanding. You're one of the best speakers that I know, to be honest. And I'm so happy whenever you speak, even if it's for a short role at the club, I'm like, yes, Anton is speaking. And I'm not the only one that feels that. Yes. I know a lot of people that echo my feelings. So, wow. And I'd like to just say, furthermore, okay, I don't want to twist your quote that you just invented. That sounds beautiful. But can it also be like a movie? Like, it's speech.
Sure, whatever you as the audience would like it to be. To me,
it's moving.
It's a moving picture. You're right. It could be a series of pictures. You know, but that's what words can do. The power of words, and we shouldn't be afraid to use the power of words. If we have a gift or a talent or a skill, use those words in the best possible way. I mean, we may be digressing a bit here, but I believe every single speech or thing that we speak about to others fall into one of three categories. They're either educational, entertaining, or engaging. But the best speeches or the best messages that we can provide people whenever we're speaking with them is a combination of those. Two or if you're lucky, all three. But that's it. I mean, sometimes we hit it, somewhere we don't. Have I bombed in my life? Definitely. I don't. I think I've more unsuccessful speeches than successful speeches initially, the first 7 or 8 years of my Toastmasters career. I mean, I'll sit and I think I make some wonderful speeches with some witty remarks and say it out to the audience. This was the time we still had an audience. You can see the live reaction. And people are looking at their fingernails, looking out the window. And you realize, well, it's not for everybody.
Wow. Yes, that's correct. And yes, I agree with that. Because the message, we have our own voice, we have our own message, and I'll share it with the world. And whoever has something to receive out of it, let them receive it. And if it's not for somebody, then it's fine. Hopefully somebody else can talk to them and reach them somehow. And we cannot reach everybody. Yes.
No. And you shouldn't try. Your speech is basically for audience, for a very limited amount of the audience. Yes. If you have all the audience behind you, great. If you only have 1 or 2, that's fine with me. That's fantastic.
Oh, yes. One person is enough for me too.
That's it.
A handful, it's fine.
Yeah.
And at least I did not waste my time opening my mouth. If one person understands what I'm trying to say.
Well, I hope we're not going to do this today. I hope more than one person will watch it.
We'll find out, Anton. We'll find out.
Definitely, because I'm going to watch that number.
Yes, you better watch us now. So in your path to become a distinguished Toastmaster, so a DTM, you had to write a whole lot of speeches. So can you share with us, how do you find stories and themes?
That's quite easy, Patricia. Life around it, things you see. I'm sitting in my office looking out of the window. There's snow and other things. There's people moving in front and up and down here. Each person's dressed differently. Some are, or mostly are dressed in dark, somber clothing, but occasionally somebody will dress up in something bright. And there's a speech there already. Why do people dress in dark clothes in the snow? Why not bright, cheerful colors? What if we all dressed in cheerful colors? Wouldn't that change people's lives? Would we feel better? I mean, there's a speech just there. It's waiting to be developed. You know, that's just one example. I mean, I think people are fantastic. I'm a de facto dog walker sometimes. And when I'm walking dogs in the sun, obviously, I see people do all sorts of strange things. I think people are not watching them. It's just amazing what people can get up to when they think people are not watching them, especially. I mean, and dog walkers, for some reason, if you're with a dog, people tend to ignore you often. So you're invisible to them and they'll carry on and do something, the weirdest things. And I mean, I was watching a window cleaner the other day, across the road in summertime. And it was her, and she was doing some antics on this thin rope, holding her up in her things, and she was playing around, dancing around. Maybe it's the music. She was enjoying herself doing her job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something you wouldn't normally associate, but she was having a great time cleaning windows.
Mm-hmm.
There's a speech there as well.
Yes.
What's it like to be a window cleaner? What type of antics can you get up as a window cleaner? Just some of the examples.
Mm-hmm. Yes, if you put it that way, absolutely. And it goes to show, I just finished reading a book called Story Worthy that our friend Alexandra Shirokova told me about. So Story Worthy, and from Matthew Dix. He's one of a moth speaker,
okay.
Phenomenal man. And he says he has a journal. It's called the Story Worthy Moments of his day. So every day at the end of the day, he writes down like a few words of a story worthy moment, something where he was moved or it touched him, or that something that really left a print on him. And after many months, many years, you become more open to identifying story worthy moments. So for somebody that doesn't do the exercise regularly, would think, oh, well, something just fell on the floor, you know. But for him, he'll think, oh, something fell on the floor. Remind me when I was a child, 5 years old, something happened. You know, my father disciplined me or whatever. So he writes down special moments with his family, his children, his dogs. And
wow.
He has entire speeches. He won like contests with those.
Yeah.
He became a many-time champion because they're basic story. It's not somebody going to the Himalaya, falling over, breaking 6 ribs and the vertebrae, and then coming back from the dead. It's not that. That's not a good story because it's not relatable.
It's the average day-to-day personal stories. It's the personal stories which, when you tell these personal stories, the audience know that you are telling a person because you smile up, your body lights up, you relax, you enjoy yourself because you're sharing something personal, something that is fun. I mean, I used to ride the subway very often and the train to go to work every morning when we used to, you know, those good old days so long ago, before this pandemic, you know, ancient times. The events that would happen on the way there and things you see outside the window as you know, on the subway or on the train or things like that. I just filed some of them away, and then I would occasionally bring them some speech because exactly what you mentioned, because it triggered a memory of something of mine which I could relate to. And that is something fantastic that we can do, because our memories coupled with these personal stories and these events, if you can combine them, something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just very fantastic. It's just too much to. It's just fantastic. But I want to tell you something. You mentioned custard earlier. You know I'm fond of custard. It's one of my greatest meals. But did you know it took me years to get the custard recipe? And it's basically 4 things. It's a custard powder, milk, sugar, and a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know how many times I mixed up the salt and sugar? It says 2 tablespoons of sugar and I put 2 tablespoons of salt in.
Yeah. That is just not, that's a good story for you.
Patricia, it's taken me years to get it right. And I get it right mostly. But even the other day, I still got that simple recipe. I still got it wrong.
Yeah.
It tastes like flavored water. And I did not do it differently than other times. Mm-hmm. It just goes that way with me. My poor wife, when it comes to my cooking skills, I think she's had so many substandard meals, but she's always told me, just keep on going. Just keep on going. You can get it right. She won't let me give up. Now, I'm sure there's a message in there, but, you know, that's a different story.
There is one. This is, I feel like I'm being preached to, or like I'm getting a very meaningful.
I think she wants me to keep on cooking. That's the thing.
Yeah, probably. Yes, very clever lady.
Such.
And one more thing I would like to add to that is, I think it just makes it makes us speakers more relatable when we talk about those little stories. Because when you're talking about the time you had that car accident and you broke all those ribs, not many people can relate to that. It doesn't happen every day, but everybody has a moment with a dog or with a kid or like something. It's like, oh yes. So I find that it makes us more even better. It helps us connect better.
Yeah, it's a connection, the human connection, because we can relate to each other. And that's what really a speech is about, in my opinion. How can we best relate to each other? When I do a speech, my biggest thing I do the speech mainly for myself. I'm writing a speech and I'm presenting a speech for myself, not always for the audience or for the evaluator, for anybody else, or even for the content when I'm in a contest. I'm doing the speech for myself because I enjoy the speech. I enjoy the memories it brings up. I enjoy the word pictures that I'm drawing because it makes me happy, because it's a happier moment. It's a good time in my life, maybe, or mostly of it. Most of my speeches, as you mentioned previously, are fun and they're entertaining. I don't really talk about the dark moments. I mean, I had cancer at one stage, and I had a bad time with it as such. I had skin cancer on my back. I had some parts of it cut away, of the skin. And I was very down at one stage, and I went to a Toastmaster meeting one day, and I said to the club, listen, I'm having a terrible time here. And the club rallied around me, and they gave me so much support. And then someone said something very powerful. He says, you're looking at yourself as a cancer victim. He says, you're not. You're a cancer graduate. And just those words, just the word cancer graduate, made me look at everything in a different way. And that was a turning point for me.
Wow.
You know?
Yes.
And these are the type of things. This is the camaraderie in a Toastmasters meeting, a Toastmasters club. It's not just the speaking, all the other things. It's the way people react to you and the way they support you. And that has been so powerful across my life. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy Toastmasters. You know, I visit many clubs. I've been in about 35 countries. I've visited about 150 different clubs. But there are certain clubs I'll come back to because of the camaraderie, the feeling of welcomingness, the feeling of openness, the feeling of treating you as like a favorite son or daughter. You know, this is one of the advantages of WOW. This is why I enjoy Speak Up as well. And this is why I enjoy the club in New York as well, as I belong to as well. You know, these are all places where I have a special connection. They've made me feel welcome. We've grown through together. We've shared each other's, not just the good times, but the bad times as well. And we've helped each other. We supported each other.
We really do. It's like a family, literally.
That's it.
We're
a family to each other. Yes, families go apart and families have a problem eventually. We drift, we move on. That's fine. But that point in time, they're family. We're family to each other. We support each other. We work with each other.
Yes.
We're there for each other, which is most crucial thing.
Yes, definitely. And that reminds me, that's what I always have so I have my church on one because I started a spiritual journey in September 2018. So this is when I have a whole family. So I have my actual family, which is the best family ever. No offense, but I have a phenomenal supportive family. But I have my church family where we are very involved with each other. It's not just a Sunday thing. We're like very involved with each other's lives. I just recently lost a family member, you know, the flowers and the thing, and they were there for me. But then there was a Toastmasters side as well. So, and then it's a family as well there. And it's a huge family because we have over 350,000 members worldwide. We can literally show up at any club in the world, right? And we're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. I mean, as I said, I've been so many different clubs. But I'd like to go back to something. You mentioned your church family. I'm a religious person as well. I believe in God, God the Father, Jesus Christ, the Holy Son, my Savior, as well as the Holy Spirit. I mean, this is one of the things I like about Toastmasters as well. Because the more I believe in God and Jesus Christ, I can also bring some of those teachings into my lessons very subtly as well, because I know it's not for everybody, but I know who I can spread and speak with a message with. I mean, there's a very, you mentioned, no, you didn't mention, but there's a very good friend of ours, Alex. I mean, I often have offline discussions about various little things like that. No, and it's fantastic to bring it in. We don't have to be afraid of talking about God, but it's not for everybody to understand that. But I know that in talking about God, I'm still a sinner because I'm not a humble person. I've got a lot of pride and ego in me. And then time after time, I'm brought to my knees. And then I have to think to myself, thank you, God, for doing this. Thank you for the gifts, the talents, and the skills you've given me. Speaking is a small gift and is something I can give back to other people with. And I use that skill as best possible. As I said, am I always good at it? No, definitely not. But hey, I enjoy it. And if I can reach one person, just one person at a time, that's all I need to do.
Yes, Anton. And it's got so many things that you said that I just have to touch on very quickly. So, because I joined Toastmasters, okay, I think it was Darren Lacroix that said that nobody joins Toastmasters to speak at Toastmasters. Everybody joins Toastmasters to speak somewhere else in their life, whether it's to get a promotion at work, whether it's in their union, to get away from an abusive relationship, to get the confidence necessary to promote their business. So everybody's doing it just, oh, let me just go hang out with a bunch of people. Like, no, nobody. No. Yes, of course we do this, but we had a motive. We wanted to improve, come out from our comfort zone, get very uncomfortable so that we can become better communicators.
We do. We join because we want to overcome a fear as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fear that we're not good enough. I think that's one other reason as well. We've got these other reasons as well, but there's also the fear I'm not good enough. Mm-hmm. And by joining Toastmaster, we see not only are we good enough, we can excel at it. Mm-hmm. You know, the old saying, practice makes perfect. No, practice makes better. That's all I want to do. I want to be better than I was previously, one day at a time. Yes. If I can be 1%, you know, the 1%, if I can be 1% better than the previous day, that's all I want to be.
Yes.
I'm not going for large things. I don't have a thing that I want to become the prime minister of whatever, or the CEO of a company. I don't have that desire. But I want to be better than I was the previous day. That's all. And if I can do it each time, I'm happy.
Yes. 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 And I joined Toastmasters specifically to gain the confidence to help certain women, not just women, but also obviously when I'm just certain women in need, basically that it was very clear. And in my journey, it became very clear I have the tools necessary to help them out, to come out from their situation where they're in. And Toastmasters allows me to do that and gave me, so in May 2021, I joined Toastmasters and it gave me so much confidence that I was able to launch my Toastmasters journey channel because I was feeling so much enthusiasm towards public speaking and towards what this forum offers, this platform offers that I wanted to share with everybody, that nobody knew what Toastmasters was and I was just getting annoyed with that. So let me tell them what Toastmasters is, okay? And sure enough, a lot of people, what's that? So now they know, they don't ask me anymore. They know, they follow my channel. Good. And then a few months later, in November 2021, I launched my spiritual journey because as we said, Toastmasters is a very universal environment. Okay. So I can go in Saudi Arabia, in China, in Russia, anywhere, I'm welcome. And we stay away from political subjects, religious, you know, those kind of.
Yeah. Typically we stay away from them. Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's just safer that way. So, and that's the reason. So I feel, but there's a way, because there are a lot of even pastors or business, there's just so many people from different walks of life that gain from it. And it could be professionals, corporate, it could be an artist or whoever it is, there's room for that. But me, it's possible to spread a message of love in our messages without even never calling the name of never even mentioning anything spiritual, but we're passing the message anyhow, right? It doesn't matter what the background is, the religion, it doesn't matter. But
pass the message of love and caring, example, yes. And
kindness, compassion.
And I really want to congratulate you, Patricia. I mean, you're the voice for many of the people that cannot speak for themselves at this point in time. And it's fantastic what you're doing, spreading the message, being a spokesperson for all these people. You're not afraid to stand up for what you want to say, and you stand up for it and you proudly proclaim it as such. And that is excellent. Well done. Don't stop doing it. Don't let somebody say, hey, Patricia, what do you think you're doing? Don't worry about the naysayers. They've got their own problems. You just keep on forging ahead and do what you want to do.
Thank you, Anton.
And you're doing it well.
Oh, thank you so much. You're very kind. Well, this is why I joined Toastmasters anyhow. I want to help people. So if you could... So thank you. And I've stopped caring what people think a long time ago. So I'm just doing what I feel like I need to do. And I also want to die with no regrets. So I'm doing everything that I feel I need to do so that when I get to my deathbed, I'll have no regrets. So
fantastic, because, you know, that's the thing. I think reaching at a certain age, when you look back in your life, you've got all those regrets. Somebody said to me something interesting the other day. He says, you talk about regrets. I think them as lessons that we had to learn. And that stopped me in my tracks as well for quite a bit. Regrets are lessons that we had to learn so we can improve. Think about it a bit. Isn't that powerful?
It is.
You know, instead of looking at them with sorrow, look at them in a bit more on a different viewpoint. Lessons we had to learn, I don't know. I mean, each person can take it or his or her, you know, the way they would like to take it. Me, I took it I can learn from them, and I can do better for the next while till I'm called to meet my maker.
Yes. Amen. Yes, sir.
Yes.
If our friend at home right now or at work is filled with ideas and dreams, but they keep getting shut down or ridiculed, and they have been dealing with failure after failure after failure, what advice would you like to give them, Anton?
You know, Patricia, that's a very deep and insightful question. I'll have to think about it for a moment. No, I'm just joking. That's typically what I'd say in a tabletop session. I'm going to respond with a cliche. Never give up. But with two provisos. A dream without a plan of action or a goal, and a commitment date will always remain a dream. If you take that dream and you say, okay, this is my dream, how can I put it into action? That is a small step forward, because you're starting to think of what next. That is starting to make a plan. And all dreams eventually, let me rephrase it. All final adventures start off as a dream. Somebody has a dream, which they then put a goal or a plan to it, and they have a date, which is say, I want to do this by a date. And they set out doing it. And they take the smallest step first. They take small steps at first, and all these small steps add up to one big step. And then you do the next set of small steps, until you add it up to another big step. And sooner than later, your dream is no longer just a dream, it's something in action. Will they always be successful? No, but that's not it. It's the journey. It is you striving to be better than previously. You're striving to be happy. And by doing this, you're making yourself happy. Maybe somebody's watching you. Maybe they can learn something from you. You think you've not been successful, but somebody's been watching you and they've been learning from you. We never think of that. Because now they're also on a journey and they can see, oh, you know, she did that maybe, or he did that. What if I do the same thing, but I could do slightly different? He didn't totally succeed. He went wrong. If I know I shouldn't follow that path because it doesn't work out. Let me try this. That's all I want to say. I mean, we can talk about it for ages, but I just want to say a dream without a goal or plan for action and a commitment date is just going to stay a dream. I'm not talking down to anybody. I just want to say you need to work on it. You need to make a plan. You need to stop just saying, oh, everybody says I can't do that dream. Forget about them. It's your dream. It's your abilities. It's yours. It's dear to you. Work at it. I mean, if your dream, let's just be totally unrealistic. If your dream is to save $50 a month, but you can't, you are just, start by saving 1 or 2 cents every day. 1 cent, you can double it. The next day is 2 cents. The next day, the third day is 4 cents. The fourth day, it's 16 cents. The fifth day is 32 cents. The fifth day is 64 cents. The sixth day is $1, whatever it is. And what I want to get to the point is, you start off small. At some point, you won't be able to carry on. Then you say, okay, let me restart. And you start at 1 cent again. You start at 2 cents. Every day you double it a bit. And by the end of the time, by the month comes, you've got quite a bit of money. You may not have your full $50 for the month, but you've got quite a. The next month you say, okay, instead of 1 cent, I'm going to add 2 cents. So the first day is 2 cents. The next day, 4 cents. The third day is 8 cents. And you start building up like that again. Sooner or later, you're going to hit your goal. How? Because you started off with small. What's a cent or a penny or two? I mean, it's nothing. If you look at the greater scheme, we've always got pennies lying around, always something like it. But it's the principle. It's you taking the action.
Yes. And it's so powerful what you just said. Actually, there's a book that changed my life and that even made me join Toastmasters. Where is it? I've mentioned it before, but the Power of Self-Discipline, No Excuses.
Yeah.
It's reversed, but by Brian Tracy.
No, I saw it's right away when you showed it to me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no excuses.
Okay.
Brian Tracy. I can read it quite quickly.
One, and so in there, so there's a 10 goals. So basically, there's a 10. I just set goals like set 10 per day, and then so the second exercise is to determine which one you want to work on, and you turn it in, you find your major definite purpose. So which one you need to do the fastest, so that it will help you get faster to the other goals. And then the third part of this exercise is to mindstorm 20 solutions. So you ask that question as, for example, let's say you're struggling at home with your spouse or your partner, and say, I would like to be a better husband or a better wife. So then, and then by a certain date, right? Because you want to make it specific, just as what you were saying. So you find a date. So by Christmas, I want to be a better spouse because I've been struggling, I've been stressed, and I've been lousy. So then I'll have to mindstorm 20 answers. How can I be a better spouse? I'm going to start taking out the trash. I'm going to start saying kind words, positive affirmation every day. And I'm going to listen to her when she talks to me, even if I don't want to listen to her. So you list 20 things. And with all of that, in the end, you end up with a transformation. You transform and you find a solution. There's nothing I want that I cannot get. And the reason why I joined Toastmasters is because of this. There's actually a chapter in there called Learn to Speak on Your Feet. Because obviously Brian Tracy was a Toastmaster. And
I didn't know. Okay, great.
Yes. And it's extremely powerful. And that's why I joined Toastmasters, and everything that I do, I mindstorm myself. So it was in April 2020 that I read this, 2021, sorry. And then by by the mid of April, the mindstorming had activated my brain so much that I said, okay, well, I'm going to start looking it up, toastmasters.org. And then, okay, let me try to find a club. And I started visiting a few clubs until I finally had the best fit with Wisdom Week. But that was by May. I did my icebreaker on April 30th. And I became a member of the May, remember, you were there. So May the 1st. So I did my icebreaker before even becoming a member. I don't know if that's allowed, but the point is, this is how much this book put me on fire. So it's the power of goals. And you can literally turn any dream into reality, but you have to mindstorm it.
You have to mindstorm, you have to make the effort.
Yes. Yes.
That's important. You have to take that small step. You talk about being a better partner to your spouse or things like this. Me, I was a lousy partner to my spouse, and sometimes I still am. But there is something on YouTube. It's the title of the thing is called "It's Not About the Nail." It's not about the nail. I'll drop the YouTube thing in the chat for you just now.
Okay, right.
But look at that, and maybe you can post a link to that.
Yes,
it's so important for spouses to remember that, especially for men, because it's about Well, as a man, I'm a solutioner. And often, my wife doesn't want to listen to my solution. She wants to listen to be heard. And I'm solutioning the problem because now I've got all the answers here. I've got the answers. And this is what you should do. No, she doesn't care about that. She wants me to listen to what she's talking about. Oh, and that's sometimes something we have to learn. And that's what I say. It's all about the nail. Watch that YouTube thing. I'll drop it in the chat just now.
Yes, thank you. And it's so true. It's so true. Everything is, yes. And okay, let me ask you this. You're a very busy man, Anton.
Really? Where?
My goodness. I don't even know how you managed to fit it all in 24 hours. So I'd like to just ask you, how do you stay grounded and balanced? Like, in other words, like, how do you keep your mental sanity through it all?
Patricia, as I said previously, I do have a pride and ego, definitely. Let's be quite honest about it as such. I mean, how do I stay grounded? It's a hard question to answer straight because I really don't know how to answer that question. I just know that I can't take myself serious, number one. And by not taking myself serious, I realize I can have fun. A lot of times when I have Toastmasters or other meetings, I interject a bit of fun. It's not always appreciated by people. I was at a meeting at a contest 2 or 3 days ago. The formal contest, everybody's so stiff in the front. So I said, who's got a dad joke? And people are like, what's a dad joke? And I said, it's a bad joke that kids normally tell you, and you share them when they're very young. So I said, give us examples. I said, okay, so why did the chicken cross the road? And I got all these wonderful fantasy. I said, no, the answer is it wanted to get to the other side. It's a total ridiculous answer, and it's so logically. So then I said, why did the turtle want to cross the road? And people said, because you want to cross it? No, because the chicken was already on the other side. Now, the answer makes no sense, really true. But It's the type of piece of humor that's out there. It doesn't have to make sense. People are now thinking totally different things. There are smiles on the screen. People are now relaxing. And that was all I wanted to do. I just wanted people to relax a bit and to have a bit of fun. Yeah. And then people started cracking some jokes. There became some great jokes came out there for the next 5 minutes, before the contest. Yeah. Instead of us just sitting there straight for looking at it and not knowing what to say because this is serious and this is a contest. Now we had a bit of fun before the time. The audience is relaxed and they're ready to enjoy. I don't know about the speakers or the contest officials, but that wasn't the purpose. We just wanted to have a bit of fun.
Yes. And
sorry, we've gone off track here, but anyway, yes,
no,
I keep myself grounded by not taking myself too serious. And I've got a lot of good family who will cut me down to size when and if. And if I don't need it, they'll just keep me humble.
Oh, yes. You can always count on family for that. Yeah, I can count on my mom for that. You know what I did?
It's carry.
Yeah, I did a video at one point where I was trying to do humor. I was just trying to show all kinds of different roles with my YouTube channel. And I gave 2 jokes and I thought they were really funny. Although I've always been told that I'm not funny, I'm horrible. And my mom, she's my biggest cheerleader. She listens to everything. Like the day of, I send her the link and she puts the little thumb and everything. She said, I put my thumb. It's good. And she told me, my daughter, in French, obviously, I know, you did your best, but you don't need to make other jokes again on your channel. So even if I thought I was funny, my mom reminds me that I'm really not. And my brother he was like, no, he said, one of them was all right. It was sort of like a dad joke. And the second one was disgusting. So that's the kind of family that I have.
But Patricia, another thing keeps me humble is I say, I'm a dog walker, and there's nothing more humbling when you have to stoop and scoop. Doesn't matter who you are. I've seen ladies dressed to the T, the wonderfully smart clothing, and then they have to bend to scoop after the dog. And like me, we have to carry the bag and go throw it away.
I love it. Yes, yes, you're right.
It doesn't matter who you are when it comes to these type of things, we all.
Yes.
And there's something else I heard yesterday says, nobody likes change except for babies with a dirty nappy or dirty diaper.
Yes.
Those are the only people that like change.
Yes. Okay. As a change manager at heart, I'm a change manager. I did the full pro site change management. And I know most humans, even the ones that say, oh, yes, I love change. I embrace change. Like apparently they're full of bananas. But I have to say, Anton, now that I'm in this journey to live my life to the fullest, I really enjoy change. Not for, not for everything. I'm not going to certain habits. I have certain routines and certain practices that I have to follow because I'm a very undisciplined person. Is that a word in English? Undisciplined?
Yes.
And
everybody uses it. I'm not sure it is a word.
It sounds, but it sounds like a word. I'm trademark it or something. But undisciplined. But at least, but I have my certain ways. But in general, I like to come out from my comfort. That's why I joined Toastmasters. I'm trying to change the status quo. And so I don't know. I feel there are some people that are risk takers and yeah, sure, I'm game. Bring it on. No? Or you think I'm just inventing myself stories?
Trisha, as I said, we all human. And, people have likes and dislikes. And what suits me doesn't suit you. What suits you doesn't suit me always. But it's important, no. Because in the end of the day is what makes you happy. You, the individual. That's the thing that counts.
Yes. No, I was just referring to you saying that nobody likes change except for
I understood. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay. But anyhow.
Let's carry on.
But if you do change certain things, you know what? Maybe you're right, because I could say certain things, but certain things I'm not prepared to change. So I guess we are. Anyhow, we're all on our journey, but
yes. That's it. What makes you happy?
Yes.
In a work situation is different. Definitely. Yes. We have certain criteria we have to meet, certain goals to be met, and we are judged on that.
Yes, we are. And okay, so if what advice would you can you share with the Toastmasters member to help them on their journey to become a memorable storyteller, since we're right in the middle of the international speech contests and all those contests?
I'm going to start with 3 words. Practice, practice, practice. We are all perfectly imperfect, but that's what makes us so special. I firmly believe any speech falls in one of those 3 categories I previously mentioned, because we have the rule of 3 in Toastmasters. We have 3 things, 3 goals. Every speech has to be either educational, entertaining, or engaging, or a combination of those 3 things. And you have to believe in your speech. You have to trust your speech. And how do you trust and believe in your speech? By practicing. You practice to be better, not to be perfect. I don't believe you memorize a speech. No speech should ever be memorized, in my opinion. Why? Because you remove the genuineness from it. You are saying those words by rotate as such. If you know your speech well, it's those little imperfections as you're speaking which makes that speech change it from a good to a great speech, or from a great speech to an exceptional speech. Because you are personalizing as you're speaking, you are reacting to the audience. When I go to a contest and I tell me everybody has to blank their screen, it really kills me, because I'll tell you what, I as a speaker want to see the audience, even on the screen. I want to see the reaction. When we're at a meeting, I'm doing a speech, I'm watching you, not always looking at the camera, and that's what people mark me down. But I'm watching each, trying to in gallery view, I'm trying to watch people, trying to see how they're reacting. Is there a smile there? Is there what? Is somebody disengaged? Do they become more engaged later on? Or is somebody smiling? Are they going, anything, or they give me the thumbs up or something like that? Because that gives me feedback the whole time. I need to know that, because it helps me to adjust, to fine-tune the speech, to use the different words in certain places. Because each time I'm speaking, I'm watching how are people reacting to my words. And that's it. As I said, to become a better story, you need to read the audience as well. And but you also need to trust your words in your speech. You need to make sure that the words are well suited for the subject or what message you want to give. Is there a call to action? Is there a message? What do you want to do with the speech? Why are you giving it? I often give a speech because I want to say something, because some good event happened in my life and I want to share it. Or sometimes a bad event happens and I want to share that as well. Why? Because I need to get it out of my system. How can I get it out of my system? By talking to others about it. And that's how it goes.
Yes. Dear Anton, what would you tell someone who doesn't see any value in joining a public speaking group such as Toastmasters?
The short answer is I can only tell them why I needed it and why it helped me. And it's up to them to change their minds if they wish. I can give them examples why I joined Toastmasters, how it helped me, and how it helped me overcome my fear of maybe public speaking or speaking to unknown people at various events. And that is about it. There's nothing I can say to change somebody else's mind unless they want to change it themselves.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. We try and say, how can I change your mind? No, we can't change people's minds. They must be willing to listen and to reason with. If they don't want to be reasoned with, you're not going to say much. Nothing you do say, you can, there's expression, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yes.
And I think this is something which applies here. The person that tells you they've got no value in public speaking groups, fine. They don't have value. But just say to them, those public speakers out there, how did they learn? Did they come to them naturally? If they say yes, you say, well, maybe, or maybe they had some type of training. And, Toastmasters is one of the ways they could get that training. One of the ways you can get the training. And then you leave it. That's up to them. If they ask more questions, you can provide information. If they don't waste your time and effort on them. You keep on doing your journey, because you're on it for you, how to improve yourself, not to improve other people. Maybe harsh, but that's how I feel.
Yes. And the beautiful thing is that we're all entitled to our opinions. That's the wonderful thing. I'm a firm believer for many different things. I don't believe in shoving anything down anybody's throat, So same thing with religion, politics, or whatever. Like I feel I'm a live and let live kind of person. Okay, I'm on my journey, you're on your journey, and let's just all live happily together as much as possible. But Anton, if somebody tells me it's okay for me to eat McDonald's every day, I've always done this. I have my breakfast, lunch. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't mention McDonald's. A fast food restaurant. Okay, they eat it 3 times a day, every day, and it's always been like that. You know, and I'm fine. Look, I'm alive. I'm walking around. There's no problem. I'm sorry, Anton. I have a big heart. I'm going to sit down with the person. First of all, they need to be prepared to listen, but there's a way. I'm not going to, you cannot convince them to stop eating McDonald's 3 times a day, but I will share information with them that may shed some light and make them realize that, oh, maybe you do need a little bit of help. Maybe you need to eat healthier meals, make better choices. So I'm just like a vehicle, I guess, just to share information. I share, as you said, I share what I know, and it's not for everybody. Of course, nothing is for everybody because that's not the way that the world works. But if I can help you, if somebody would have told me about Toastmasters, I learned about Toastmasters at age 40 or 41 or 41, I guess. Yes, I'm 42 now. So I never even heard about Toastmasters. Well, maybe a few months beforehand. But the point is, because I had heard of it at a women conference in the previous August, it was anyway, wonderful. Dr. Anita Phillips was telling, find your own voice. And I had no voice. I was voiceless for decades because I had, anyway, just because of my past, it's not my interview. I won't get into it right now, but I had a lot of reasons why I was shut down. So Toastmasters gave me my voice back. And even if I did not join Toastmasters to join Toastmasters, I joined Toastmasters so that I can get to the women I'm trying to get to and be able to speak with them and create a kind of sense of community and a platform so I can get to them. I would not have, if I would have known before, maybe when I was a teenager. So I'm so happy my daughter is exposed to all of this. She's annoyed with me with all my speeches and she has to listen to me and whatever, but she knows, and she's a fine evaluator. She tells me, she provides feedback. She knows how to provide feedback. So I'm just saying those are tools. And you know how many times I tell people, a lot of people tell me they admire what I do, my messages touch them, reach them whichever way, and I could never do what she do. I could never do what she do. That was me talking just a few months ago. What they're saying was me just before I joined Toastmasters. I'm just saying, I feel so strongly about this that I literally dedicate a whole channel, a YouTube channel to this, because it can help anybody. I don't care what you're doing, who you are. You can benefit from being a better communicator. And most of the problems, I'm going off on a rant here, but most of the problems on this planet are caused by a lack of communication or people not being able to
totally agree.
People not being able to articulate thoughts properly or clearly, or the wrong people having the voice and the right people not having the voice. So yes, it's very, very serious for me. And I believe everybody can benefit. I like to say public speaking groups such as Toastmasters because there are other forums, there are other free forums, there's small. I don't care what it is, just public speaking in general, anybody can gain from that. If you have a business, you can sell more of your fridges or cars or whatever you're selling. You're a lawyer, you can be better and win more cases. You're a doctor, you can communicate better with people that are dying and losing patients or whatever. So it helps. Banker, baker, whatever you're doing, unemployed at home, you're dealing with a human, even a dog. You can even talk kindly to your dog if you only have a dog. You understand?
Definitely.
So everybody can benefit from it, but it's up to them to decide if they want to go along. Yes.
Okay. That is the crux of the matter. I was going to come back and say, all these things are fantastic. I'm totally 100% agreement, but the person needs to want to change.
Yes.
See, we come back to the little word change again. Do you want to change? Do you want to better yourself? The dream we were talking about earlier as well. Some people have a dream, but they're not willing to do anything about the dream. They rather talk about the dream that they have or had than do something about it. Anyway, sorry, we're getting a bit deep here.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I want to get
No, this is good, Patricia. Keep it in. Keep that piece in there.
I feel
you can see how Anton made me rant.
Yes, okay. I've said my piece. I'm good. I think you get the point, but we agree in the end. Obviously, nobody will make a change if they're not prepared to make the change. And they're on their own path, and maybe they can learn a thing or two by just hearing people talking, but that's, yes, and it's fine. It's fine, of course.
Definitely. No, I agree 100% with you.
Pardon?
No, I agree 100% with you.
Yes. What is the next step for Anton Coetzee?
We spoke originally about the hard questions. You know, what are the hard questions? You say, tell me about yourself is one of the hard questions. I find, what is the next step for Anton Coetzee? One of the hardest to do it. I have an ambition to be a great speaker, not an exceptional speaker or expert speaker. I just want to do the occasional public speaking event. But honestly, I have no real idea. And I'll tell you why. Because it's also to do with my religious background. I don't know what path God wants me to do. You know, there's the expression said, man plans his way and God, but men and mice plan their way and God laughs. Something like this, you know, and you know, also there's several Bible verses that God has a plan for us. I don't know what his plan is for me, but I've given a certain talent of speaking. I've given a certain talent of doing some evaluations and stuff. I'm quite reasonably, I believe, quite good at it. People told me that. But I don't know what the future holds for me. I'm curious about it. You know, that mock contest we had with you as such? Somebody took one of my evaluation and she used the method I described in her to evaluate a speaker that well, there were two speakers in the meeting I was at yesterday, and I was evaluating the second speaker, and she used my method. And so I couldn't use that method for my evaluation, which I had. So I had to, on the fly, change my evaluation to some other different method and say some different things in a different way. I don't mind she does it. I think it's fantastic that she thought that my words were good and something she could act on. But I had to dig deep. And it was fun because I was internally challenged how to do things on the fly all of a sudden. And I really thought to myself, thank you to that person for doing it. Otherwise, I would have given a standard evaluation. It would have been good. But now I had to dig deep and I had to think of something different to say the same things, but in a different form, that the person I'm evaluating will still feel good, if not better, to improve themselves for the future. Now, I don't know, is that the next step for Anton? That was the original question. I'm diverting the question to something I want to talk about. But coming back, honestly, I don't know what's next. I'm enjoying life at this point in time. At this point in time, I'm looking for work still. I want to get back in the job market. I want to go back cruising eventually once we can really do that. I love cruises, but somehow somebody has to pay for it. You know, so who's that someone? And somehow it's me getting a job again for a while. And I need to do that. And I want to do that. So maybe that's a goal there. But as I said, I don't know what plan God has got ahead for me. I'd like to think it includes it, but that's what I think. I don't know. This one time, I'm taking it a day for day. And as I said, I'm trying to be 1% better than the previous day. How? By trying to do many speeches if possible, helping fellow Toastmasters where I can. I've been mentoring people for the last few years. My last mentor in January, I've actually said, I can't help you anymore. You need to become a mentor now. That's the only way you can improve. By putting all the things that we've worked on together into practice. I'm still her advisor. She occasionally contacts me. But she's got 2 or 3 people she's mentoring at this point in time. I mean, that's a great point. Maybe I should go more to mentoring. I don't know. But I mean, there's so many different options out there. Maybe I'm afraid to take any of these, make a final step. Maybe I should follow a dream. The dream that I'm talking about here, which one of our many dreams do I need to follow? I don't know. I always had a dream of becoming a financial coach. Maybe I should put my words into action. The words we spoke about earlier, doing one step at a time. I've got a lot of paperwork for it. I did a lot of things and I chickened out a long time ago of really following up on it. Maybe it's time for me to brush that off again and do something about it. But I don't know. The true answer is I honestly don't know. Can I carry on this way? Sure. But will I be happy at the end of the day? I doubt it. So I have to just step it up. I have to change.
Change again. We're talking about change again.
Yeah, there we are. You see, as we talk here, I realize I've got to change. Thanks, Patricia. Now you made me do hard work now today.
Twice. You had to come up with a different method for evaluation, and now you have to change something.
Yeah. That's a challenge we have to face. But I mean, it's fun. Let's put it life. If you can live it, like you said earlier today, we both said it, I think earlier. We are doing this to help others as well. We're not just helping ourselves. We're doing this to help others. You want to help women which are in difficult circumstances. My goal is to help people to enjoy doing speeches or evaluations, because even evaluations should be fun. I mean, this is what I mentioned in previously as well. I believe evaluation shouldn't just be educational, dark, dull, dreary. You shall do this. You didn't do this. You need to do. No, I believe being light, enjoyable. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed that. Maybe you could, improve on that by doing this or that. But we need to, work together to do things together. And that's how life is. If we work together, we're going to get a lot more done. I mean, the expression is you catch a far more fly with honey than with vinegar.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And, we all know an elderly lady or a nice elderly man who they always call everybody, hey, sweetie, hey, honey, boo. And they get a lot more than the ones that are irate and acting unpleasant, basically. So absolutely, that resonates a lot with me.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go to the shop. How many times if you let somebody with 2 or 3 items in front of you, you've got a full basket or a full buggy full? Mm-hmm. I look around, so sometimes see somebody behind with them and say, would you like to go ahead of me? You know what? Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So kind. I've made this person's day. Mm-hmm. I've shown some compassion, some kindness towards a stranger. Mm-hmm. What does it cost me? A wait time of 2-3 minutes? Who cares? Yes. In the long run of things, those 2 or 3 minutes means nothing. But I've helped somebody. Hopefully he or she will then pass that kindness on to somebody else as well. That's my internal hope. But it doesn't really matter. I've helped that person. They show me gratitude, and that's my reward. End of story.
Absolutely. And especially those small acts of kindness, Anton, whether it's a kind word or a kind action, it can literally save a life. I know if you know this, but nowadays, the rates of suicide are insane to the roof. But anyway, so many different individuals who are actually they don't even see the point of going forward. But sometimes just those little actions can literally shift someone's trajectory.
I agree 100%. But this will say, every time you go out there, do something, smile at somebody. Mm-hmm. Just a smile sometimes as you're walking. When I'm dog walking, I never used to smile originally. Now I smile and I wave. 9 out of 10, so a lot of time people are like, who's the stranger, especially the ladies, like, who's this guy waving me or whatever? Doesn't matter. Mm. The dog will appreciate the wave. That's all I think.
Yes, the mask. Usually, I was raised this way. My mom used to, and I remember being embarrassed when I was a teenager, or not a teenager, not so much a teenager, but as a child, my mom is a very friendly, very open person. She'll just say hi to random strangers in the neighborhood, and I used to always feel awkward as a child. Like, why are you saying hi to people you don't know? Because I didn't want attention on me, and I was like, oh. But growing up now, I'm turned into my mother because by every passing day, I realize, oh my God, I'm so much like my mom. And hi, Mom.
Patricia, there's speeches for us. Turning into our parents.
Yes. Who's doing it first at the club?
We can both do our own version of it. I challenge you. And you want to do a speech in the next? Let's do the next month. We try each to do a speech on it.
Yes, I'll call Kit. We'll organize something.
Yeah,
definitely.
We can actually do it the same day, maybe. If I can whatever. We can ask. We can do this. Set some date in the future that we can both decide and see what to do. Yeah. But I've got to practice now. I give myself more work.
Practice. But the thing with my mom, so me turning into my mom, I literally, so I cannot smile because of the mask. Well, although you can still smile, but now I've started a new thing. I just wave. I walk like whenever, because I take long walks. Wherever I go, I smile and I wave. It's my new thing. And people, they just wave back. They say, who's that crazy person waving? Do I know her? I just wave at people. And it's my new way of smiling through the mask right now, basically, because then there's no you're not misunderstanding the wrinkles around my eyes. I'm waving at you. I see you as a human and I love you and I'm saying hello to you.
Yeah, and that's fantastic because that's all people. Somebody waved at me today, and that can change, as you mentioned, the whole outlook. Just somebody noticed me. I'm not invisible anymore. You know, just by that wave, it takes nothing out of our day to do that. It takes nothing from you. Just to wave the person, they might appreciate, and they may pass it on to someone else that needs it, and that person may pass on to someone else that may need it. You know, what's the ripple effect? We don't know, but each time we do something like that, I believe there's a ripple effect.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely. So finally, if someone in the audience would like to connect with you, what is the best way, Anton?
Well, they can always connect me via email, or I've got a LinkedIn profile as well. You can drop my LinkedIn profile maybe in the comments section or something like that.
It will appear on the screen. Yes.
Okay, that'll be even, that'll be better. I think, contact me via LinkedIn and we'll take it from there. Because I'd love to chat to other people. I'd love to talk at other events as well. Yeah. See, free publicity.
Yes.
Let's use it.
Great. So, all right. So we're made it to the end. I could go on talking to you for hours, by the way, Anton.
Like, well, thank you very much, Patricia. But no, you've got a life as well. You got to spend another 8 hours editing this now.
I could. I would not even realize it. But it's fine. I have to go rehearse my I'm finishing up my script because I'm trying the competition just for the fun and for the growth for the first time because I've just joined. So
Patricia, you're already a winner by just being in the contest. Let me tell you that. People don't understand it, but just taking that step, we talked about those steps. You being in a contest, you winning this, it doesn't matter if you placed or not. You entered. You tried something different. You're learning something from other people there. Are people going to be better? Sure, but it doesn't matter.
Thank you so much.
And people are going to learn from you as well. That matters. So do your best.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much. Let me share my main takeaways. Okay, I have to quote you on this. A speech is a picture with words. But that evolved into a speech is a moving, you said a movie with words, yes.
Movie, yeah.
And whenever you speak, if you want to be a memorable speaker, you want to educate, entertain, and engage. That stuck with me. And don't take yourself too seriously. And it really touched me particularly when you said that you did not consider yourself a cancer victim, but you considered yourself a cancer graduate. And I feel we can apply that to anything. I'm not a victim, I'm a graduate. So I love that so much.
Any major thing that you go through, you are no longer a victim because a victim pertains you being helpless. You are a graduate, you overcome, and you will continue overcoming it.
Amen. Yes. And also there was turn your dreams. And you've said so many things I have to return that back just to make sure. I just close the loop here. Turn your dreams into actions. Make a plan. Set up a date. Take small steps. And they will add up to big steps. And yeah, then your dreams will become a reality. Enjoy the journey while you're at it.
Definitely. Enjoy the journey. Yes. It's not getting to your end of final destination. It's the journey that makes it so interesting and worthwhile. Yeah. So people get to meet along the way. That makes and forms bonds and relationships.
Yes. And the last one, practice, practice, practice. Whatever you do, whether you're a speaker or whether you're a basketball player, whatever you're, practice, practice, practice. Okay, so are there any parting words or anything you'd like to share before we disconnect, Anton?
Oh, as a Toastmaster, I always have some passing words, but I'm going to keep them very short. Just try to be better than you were the previous day. Just a little bit better in anything and everything you do. You don't have to do everything. Just try and be a little better. Smile a bit more. Wave a bit more. Simple little act. Yeah. You never know who's going to appreciate it. Patricia, thank you very much for this opportunity. I really enjoyed it. We've touched on some deep things. You've made me realize I need to think about my next steps. You challenged me to a speech contest and, parenting, coming like our parents or mother or father. Yes, I've got some takeaways as well.
Wonderful. A lot of things coming. Very excited. I'll be right there on the first row cheering you on. at the club.
And I'll be cheering you.
Yes, I know. Thank you. And thank you so much for watching us. And I hope you feel as inspired as I do. And yes, and I will leave you with this. I always do because I feel very strongly about this. The power of your voice can change the world. Find it and use it.
Amen.
See you in the next video.